English practice today, podcast from SBS News, morning news of 29th of April 2024. Israeli tanks reported in the center of Rafah for the first time in a ground operation gathering global condemnation. Thousands ordered to evacuate from the path of a still active landslide in Papua New Guinea. Lina Rybakina advances to the French Open second round. Israeli tanks have reached the center of Rafah for the first time, 3 weeks into a ground operation in the southern Gaza city that has sparked global condemnation. Witnesses reportedly spotted the tanks near a Adwa mosque, a central Rafah landmark. The Israeli military says its forces continue to operate in the Rafah area, but did not comment on reported advancements into the city center. Foreign Minister Penny Wong says, death and destruction in the southern Gaza city of Rafah cannot continue, following calls for the government to take a stronger stance. Senator Wong reiterated the federal government's call for a humanitarian ceasefire to allow aid to flow into Gaza after an Israeli airstrike ignited a fire at a tent camp which killed at least 45 people. Israel has disregarded a ruling from the United Nations International Court of Justice calling for an immediate end to the assault on Rafah, escalating violence in a densely populated city. Senator Wong says Israel should obey orders by the International Court of Justice. Quote, the death and destruction in Rafah is horrific. This human suffering is unacceptable, and we reiterate to the government of Israel this cannot continue. We must see an immediate humanitarian ceasefire so that civilians can be protected, and Australia continues to support the work of the United States, Qatar, and Egypt in trying to achieve this. We continue to call for the release of all hostages by Hamas, and Israel must allow aid to flow at scale, as directed by the International Court of Justice. Thousands of residents in Papua New Guinea have been ordered to evacuate from the path of a still active landslide. At least 2,000 people are thought to have been buried after parts of the mountain collapsed on Friday. Local officials say the odds of finding survivors is slim, even as relief teams have checked into the difficult-to-access northern Inga region of the Pacific nation. Heavy equipment and aid have also been slow to arrive due to the treacherous terrain and tribal unrest in the remote area. Some residents, like local businessman Jima Yadam, have been forced to use shovels or their bare hands to search for survivors. Quote, we are using manual labor with spades and iron rods to dig. If we are lucky, we'll find the bodies. Otherwise, they're buried forever. Quote. Police have responded to accusations officers ignored repeated warning of an imminent threat posted by a man who killed a mother and a daughter in Perth. Ariel Bombara, the daughter of the double murderer Mark Bombara, told the ABC yesterday. The failure of police to hit her and her mother's warnings on 3 separate occasions, quote, cost the lives of 2 incredible women, quote. Mr. Bombara shot and killed Jennifer Petosis and her 18-year-old daughter Gretel in their Florida home while searching for his ex-partner before taking his own life. Police say they have begun an investigation into the actions of the officers who spoke with Ariel Bombara and her mother. Police Commissioner Cole Blanche admitted police had received a family violence incident report regarding Mr. Bombara prior to the incident. Quote, I have asked that our internal investigations unite conduct an investigation into the 3 interactions that Ariel speaks of with our police officers. The investigation will determine what we knew at the time and what decisions were made at the time, and whether or not they were appropriate. Mr. Bombara had no criminal record with Western Australia Police in relation to family domestic violence. There was a family violence incident report submitted, but all of those things will be subject to the investigation about where did the information report go, who did it go to, and what actions were then taken. Quote, Australian researchers hope to slow or stop the progression of Parkinson's disease by targeting the gut rather than the brain. A Queensland University of Technology team has been awarded $4 million for the 4-year trial that will look at combating the illness by altering gut health. Parkinson's disease is the fastest growing neurological disorder in the world, which in Australia is expected to triple by 2050. No effective treatment is available to stop Parkinson's disease, which affects more than 150,000 Australians. The QUT team hope to change that with a new approach that looks at the gut ecosystem. Associate Professor Richard Gordon said studies have shown a difference in gut health between Parkinson's patients and healthy people. Now in tennis, Elena Rybakina has recovered from a rocky start to comfortably beat Belgian great Mingyan to 6-2, 6-3 in a French Open first round. Rybakina was unable to defend her Italian Open title because of sickness, and after losing severe in an opening game at after losing serve in the opening game at Roland Garros on Tuesday, the 24-year-old will go on to face Rataxa Ross or former world number 1 Angelique Kerber next week. And that is all for today's practice and from this news.